What's really nice about Meatlug though is this reflect. Though Gronckle is a little faster, so it's more likely to evade. Hi, this is Genevieve Plays Rise of Berk, and we're back for another tier ranking. Alright, we're doing protectors today. So let's go ahead and get started. If you want to check out Swift and Cunning as well as Furious, they are linked below. Okay, so we're gonna go in order. I'm going in backwards order for some reason. It's the order I wanted to go in. I'm sticking to it. Okay, so let's start with Rumblehorn. Alright, so Rumblehorn has a decent basic attack and it heals, and it has this ultimate. It costs 3 bars, it's only 3. Absorbs damage dealt to an ally dragon as well as removes negative effects from an ally dragon. It sounds better than it is. Like, it is nice to rely on because you get Rumblehorn pretty early on in the game as an early player when you don't have many other protectors. But actually using the ability is really awkward. I am not a huge fan of it. So we are putting Rumblehorn at D class. I'm sorry, we're starting off low. It's just not really incredible. If someone wants to make an argument for putting D class higher, I'll do it, but it's nothing really spectacular. I haven't used it in ages. It's not really any better than other protectors, so D class. Alright, since I prepared this video, I have upgraded some of my dragons, so they're in a slightly different order. So we're gonna go a little out of order here for a second. Next is Teen Ruff. Okay. So Teen Ruff has a good basic attack. Now, instead of having a heal and then an ultimate like most other protectors, Teen Ruff has a 4-bar Call to the Wild, which is a healing move, but it's more than a regular healing move. Those are usually capped out at 25 or 30. Teen Ruff heals at 40%, so that's a really significant healing. And then Teen Ruff has this ultimate that does a little bit of restoration of health to your team, and then it blocks rival dragons from healing for 2 turns. So that is pretty cool. From what I've heard from other people, actually using Teen Ruff is really spectacular, and I can imagine it is, especially if you're going against dragons that have healing abilities, like mostly protectors, or certain Swifts or Cunning. So we're gonna put Ruff at S class. I could take an argument for A class, but A or S, this is a new profile for Protector, and it's a really cool, helpful profile. So I'm leaving it Teen Ruff at S for now. So unless someone persuades me otherwise, that's where Teen Ruff is going. Alright, next is Windgnasher, and then we'll do Skullcrusher. Okay, so Windgnasher, we've got a basic attack. Now Windgnasher, his basic tail sweep also restores health, like Windshear. So it's pretty nice to use when you're using Windgnasher. Heals at 3 bars like most protectors. The ultimate, costing 5 AP, puts everyone to sleep. It's amazing. Especially if you can pair this with Sleuther. You just have to be careful, because if you're going to do it with Sleuther, you have to do it where you keep cycling through and you just keep using the Sleuther ultimate, because Sleuther's basic attack is an AoE. It's a low-grade AoE attack. So you don't want to use it with Sleuther and then use Sleuther's basic attack and wake everyone up. But if you want to keep cycling through and use the Sleuther ultimate to give Champion Windgnasher their ultimate, skip the next dragon, and so on and so forth, a lot of players are fond of that method. It's just amazing, and it can help you out in a pinch. So Champion Windgnasher is also S tier. Alright? I don't know why they're in different order. I don't remember what I did. I'm not changing it. Alright, next up is Skullcrusher. Skullcrusher has the same basic attack. Now, Skullcrusher works differently than other protectors. Most protectors heal as their second move. Skullcrusher has taunt, so all rival dragons must attack Skullcrusher, which is pretty useful. And then the ultimate only costs 3, so that taunting is 2, which is nice because a lot of protectors, their second move at heal is 3 bars. So then the 3-bar is a heroic shell that absorbs damage dealt to an ally dragon and restores health to an ally dragon. So it's kind of like a little bit like a kamikaze move a little bit. So we're going to put Skullcrusher at... Alright, so we're going to put Skullcrusher in C class. I actually had it in D class and decided to move, because I do think its moves are more helpful than the Rumblehorn, so it's not really fair to put it on the same level as the Rumblehorn. I don't think it's as useful or easy to use as other protectors, so that's why I'm sticking it at C class and no higher, but it is better than Rumblehorn, so I have to give it that, so it's C class. Alright, next up we have Meatlug. Meatlug has a nice basic attack that's 2, it's a double, it's a bite. Or it's a hit. I forget if it's bite or hit, but it's great. All right, now instead of healing, which is unfortunate because we like our protectors to be able to heal, Meatlug is still awesome though. Meatlug has a move that enables you to use the Intimidate type of move that Furious have on all protector dragons. So this works really nicely in a gauntlet where you're using an entire protector team, and then you can boost your team to make it stronger. I do prefer Defender Gronckle for this same function because it combines with an attack. I don't like boosts that are of a wasted attack. Like, it's a wasted turn. It doesn't get any damage on the rival dragons. So, I mean, it's nice. What's really nice about Meatlug, though, is this Reflect. It can be a really nice lifesaver when you're down 1-1 and you just keep putting the Reflect on Meatlug. It's a great way because it will reflect the damage back onto the rival dragon that is attacking. It might hit that rival dragon, or no, it'll hit that same rival dragon. So it can be very helpful. So, all right, Meatlug is S-Class. Just because you can use Meatlug early especially, it has a strong protector attack, and that Reflect is such a Hail Mary. S-Class. Some people might argue A-Class, A-Tier. I keep saying class, it's tier. S-Tier. Some people may argue A-Tier, but I really think Meatlug belongs in S-Tier. I love Meatlug. I just can't use mine, but I use Meatlug on the other games. It's great. She's great. All right, next up is Snafflefang. Now, Snafflefang, basic attack. It heals like most protector heals at 3 AP. The ultimate costs 3, and it stuns the rival dragon, which means for a turn they can't do anything. It's not as effective as the champion Windgnasher Sleep, which puts them out for 2 turns, but this is really nice, and I really like to use it, especially with early game accounts, where you can basically perma-stun rival dragons as long as you have all 3. Every time it comes back to Snafflefang, he'll be recharged and he can keep going. It's a really nice way to keep evil dragons like Exotic Whispering Death subdued. Snafflefang is an amazing choice. So, as A-Tier. I almost said S-Tier. A-Tier. The only reason it's not S-Tier, it doesn't have an AoE, and its attack doesn't do more damage. And it's not as effective of a healer as Teen Ruff. So it's really, really good. It's really good. It's just not an S-Tier. It is solid, solid A-Tier. All right, next up is Gronckle. Okay, Gronckle and Timberjack basically have the same profile, so I'm going to cover them together, like I should have done for Exotic Smothering and Soaring Sidekick. They have almost the exact same profile. Basic attack, heals at 3, and they have an AoE ultimate that costs 3 AP. My Gronckle and my Timberjack do look a little different because my Gronckle is only a 15 and my Timberjack is a 16. But if you look at them, compare them at the same level, here I'll go ahead and put some screenshots up from another game. They basically have almost the exact same stats, though Gronckle is a little faster, so it's more likely to evade. But the other key difference is that Timberjack requires less tokens than Gronckle, so you're more likely to be able to upgrade Timberjack sooner. So depending on your stage of the game, that might make a difference in which you choose to use, only because whichever you have available. But beyond the token issue, they are basically have the exact same profile, so they get the same ranking. All right, so that puts Gronckle at B class. The reason I put Snaffle is better than Gronckle is because that perma-stun is really helpful, and even if the Gronckle has an AoE, it's still not as nice as that perma-stun you can use with Snafflefang. So then, of course, we're also putting Timberjack at B class. I really like their AoEs. They're reliable, especially at early players and when you need protectors in a gauntlet, but that perma-stun is just really helpful. All right, next up is Thunderdrum. I consider Thunderdrum much to be in the same category as Gronckle, Timberjack, and Snafflefang. They're all basic dragons you can get relatively early in the game, though Snafflefang is Arena 3, and I think Thunderdrum is 2. I forget, I'll have to check. But the difference is Snafflefang and Thunderdrum can only use their ultimate on one dragon, so I do prefer AoEs, but I still put them all in the same tier, just because the Thunderdrum and Snafflefang ultimates do more damage to a single dragon, and they come with a disabling factor, so that makes their ultimates stronger towards the single dragon, even if they're not AoEs. So Thunderdrum gets to be... Alright, so for Thunderdrum, we're actually going with A class. So it's really tied here between the A and the B, and even though the Bs have AoEs, which you guys know I prefer, What edges it out is how useful the disabling effects are of stun and of the disable one. So I think that is a reason to put Thunderdrum at A class, because it can be really helpful to neutralize a dragon like Dagger Skrill or Champion Whip Slash from using their mega abilities. Alright, second to last we have Hotburple. Hotburple has a very weak basic move. Hotburple heals for 3 IP. The really nice thing about Hotburple is that if you don't have Cloud Jumper, then Hotburple can act like a budget Cloud Jumper. The ultimate costs 4 AP, and it puts shields over them, which absorbs the negative effects and absorbs damage dealt to ally dragons. So it's really helpful if you don't have Cloud Jumper. It can be a nice little shield that you can rely on. Alright, so Hotburple's gonna be B class. Mostly because it's a really solid protector. It sucks as an attacker. Like, you do not want to have your last dragon as Hotburple. It's really nice when the other team has a last dragon of Hotburple, but not for you. Like, that's almost impossible. So Hotburple is a solid B class. Amazing protector, sucks as an attacker. Alright, last but not least, we have Brute Boneknapper, which in my opinion is the better of the two available Boneknappers for Brawl. Basic attack, heals at 3 IP. The ultimate is pretty nice. It stuns like Snafflefang, and then it also does the cunning shatter move, which decreases defense. So it's a very nice move you can use, especially when it's a protector versus cunning gauntlet. This is very nice to use against cunning dragons. You can pick one like Exotic Whispering Death, not picking on you, but I am, and just keep putting it to sleep. It's a pretty helpful move. So, and finally, Brute Boneknapper is really awesome for using in gauntlets or just in general against cunning dragons especially. It's great. That ultimate is pretty nice. Alright, so in review, this is lopsided again. Maybe I just suck at being mean, or maybe Ludia did a pretty good job in designing these dragons. Just maybe. So S tier are Champion Windgnasher, Meatlug, and Teen Ruff. A tier are Snafflefang, Thunderdrum, and Brute Boneknapper. B tier is Gronckle, Timberjack, and Hotburple. And then C tier, Skullcrusher. D tier is Rumblehorn. Originally, I think I had Thunderdrum lower, but I also just said that Thunderdrum and Snaffle are very similar in profile, so they really need to be on the same tier. Yeah, I think that they solidly belong in these tiers, and maybe I should just, in the future, if I do this again, do 4 tiers instead of 5, because there end up being not as many dragons in the C and D tier, so they can share a tier. I think that's what I'll have to do in the future. Yeah, so hopefully this will help you in picking out protector dragons to use. Remember to keep your dragons at the same Brawl grade. Okay, your rival dragons are based on your 3 highest dragon grades. So if you have all hickledy-pickledy grades like I do, it's going to be a mess, and you're only going to be able to use your higher grade dragons, which means you're going to be like me and not be able to use your favorite champion Catastrophic Quaken for over 2 years. And still not be able to use it. I don't know when I'll be able to use it again. So keep your dragons at the same Brawl grade. Do not upgrade them until you can upgrade them all together. Be conscious of dragons that come in at higher grades like Hookfang, Barfin Belch, and Sleuther. Alright, thanks for watching. This is Genevieve Plays Rise of Berk. Do check me out on Twitch and TikTok. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.